Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders.
Shedeur Sanders.
What is going on with Shedeur Sanders?
The Cleveland Browns select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado.
Listen to the reaction. What's going on, y'all? It's your guy Chase Johnson, aka 5100 CJ. Back at you with another reaction video, and you know we got to talk about Shedeur Sanders. Two G's. Where do I start, bro? Okay, let's talk about who Shedeur Sanders is, right? Shedeur Sanders is a quarterback he was a former quarterback for the Colorado Buffaloes. Before that, he was at Jackson State University, HBCU, not too far from where I live in Memphis, Tennessee. Know a little bit about him. He came to Jackson State. Immediately, the team was better. Now, was the team bad? Not really, but he took them to new heights. Him and Deion took them to new heights with the recruits that they were able to bring in. With it being a small football team, small conference, small league, right? He was able to get the best talent. We understand that. That's not rocket science. We get it. They eventually beat everybody, right? We can get into the details of the losses that they did have and what they could have accomplished, but for the most part, they dominated the SWAC. You know, those who don't know, look it up. Deion got an offer to the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, I'm gonna talk about Deion as well, but Shedeur from the beginning was an accurate quarterback. You could see it. He wasn't very mobile. He wasn't the stereotypical black quarterback that runs the ball, that can't throw with accuracy, that doesn't have anticipation. He was basically the opposite of what they said quarterbacks need to be and have been saying for the last, 30, 40, 50 years. He is literally not what they say is a problematic quarterback because they get hurt. He was just not that guy, right? Then his dad moved on when he got the offer to be a coach at the Colorado Buffaloes. Now let's look at the Colorado Buffaloes record before Deion got there. Their record was 1-11, okay? 1-11. Deion gets there. Let's see what they improved on. Let's go 23 season. So when Deion got to Colorado, they win 3 more games, right? Shedeur Sanders struggles, but he looks good. Travis Hunter looks good. They're putting pieces together. It takes time to build a college organization. Jim Harbaugh goes to Michigan. He didn't win the championship or beat Ohio State for 3 to 4 years, right? But that's a Power 5 program as well. But he came there and didn't have immediate success. That's not expected of coaches that share certain traits that he has, right? Let's just say that. He did not achieve what's supposed to be achieved. People got impatient with him, but he eventually got it done and won a national championship, correct? Okay. Now, let's go to last year's season with the Colorado Buffaloes. I know the record, but I just want to be completely 100% accurate. So let's look at Colorado's record last year. The Colorado Buffaloes went 9-4. A 5-game improvement from the first year Deion, Travis, Shedeur, Shiloh got there, right? So that's a dramatic increase from when Deion first got there to his second season as a head coach. Shedeur Sanders, let's look at his stats from 2024, 2025. Let's take a look at him, shall we? He had a 74% completion rate, 4,134 yards, 8.7 yards per attempt, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 42 sacks. Longest play was 69 yards. 168.2 quarterback rating. So those stats aren't groundbreaking, but they're above average stats. And he's doing, I understand how anal the league is, the NFL is about completion percentage, right? The standard used to be 59, 60 to 5%. You were a very accurate quarterback. Right around now, they want you to be about 67, 68. He was 71% of his passes. So he almost completed 3 out of 4 passes that he threw. Understand that. Was some of it check down? Of course. Ask Tom Brady how good check downs are. I guess that doesn't matter when you're Shedeur Sanders, but you know, whatever. So I'm sorry to say I mistakenly got it wrong. He completed 74% of his passes. So pretty much he completed a third of his passes. Okay, so Shedeur Sanders was top 5 in passing efficiency. Number 1 was Jackson Dart. Number 5 was Shedeur Sanders. And I watched Jackson Dart play. He right down the road from me in Memphis. He's in Ole Miss. He's at Ole Miss, so you know I know a little bit about Jackson Dart. Accurate quarterback. I thought he was pretty good. You know, like I really wouldn't say I would take him over Shedeur, but a decent argument could be made for who you would take. I didn't have an issue with that one. Let's go to passing yards, okay? So Cam Ward was second, the first draft pick. We knew rocket arm, laser-like ability, could run, just a heck of an athlete. I knew he was gonna go before Shedeur. I didn't even expect him to go after Shedeur, right? Let's look. Shedeur, number 4, passing yards. So in 2 of the stats that matter the most, let's look at one more. Let's look at one more. Shedeur Sanders was the number 2 quarterback when it comes to passing touchdowns. So in all the stats that mattered, he was top 5, right? Now I understand that position, quarterback, college can be skewed. It's a hard position to select, right? I've seen guys that I just knew was going to be great in the NFL. They get in the NFL and they're a dud, right? We understand quarterback is hard to select. If you're an actual football fan that keeps up with football, this is something that's understood. Get it, right? So here was my thought. I said, I can see Shedeur going in the top 10, maybe going to Cleveland, maybe going to New York. I thought he definitely might end up with the Steelers because let me be honest, I didn't think Shedeur was just a great quarterback. I thought he was a good quarterback, you know? I thought his comp could be somebody like maybe a Eli Manning, maybe a Kirk Cousins with a little bit more athleticism. That's kind of how I saw him, you know? I didn't think he was going to be a great quarterback. I thought he would be a solid to good quarterback that could win you a ring, kind of like Russell Wilson. That's kind of where I put him at, you know? Not the same type of player, but the same level of expectation that I have for them, right? Now, one person that is very respected when it comes to draft boards and projections and mock drafts is Mel Kiper. So let's look at where Mel Kiper had Shedeur Sanders going. So Mel Kiper had him going number 1 or number 3. I thought that was a little high myself, but okay. Peter Schrager at Monday Morning Quarterback. Somebody I respect. I've seen some of his content. I like what he has to say about quarterbacks, really valuable information. I got put on to him by Colin Cowherd, who I think is very opinionated but entertaining. This is his ranking. He had him going 21st to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know Sanders had a good meeting in Pittsburgh when he visited a few weeks back. I also know the Steelers didn't have a QB1 on their roster. This might be viewed as a slip down from the board for Sanders. He could go anywhere from number 3 to the Giants in the 2nd round. Now here's my point. People are probably wondering what I'm trying to say here. I don't think this is racism. I'm not big on racism. I believe racism is a very powerful word. I don't throw it around all willy-nilly, but I do think race is involved, right? And there's a few reasons why I say that. 1, people from the beginning really just had an issue with Deion Sanders. Just initially, like you just would see comment sections full of, I gotta say it, Caucasian men mostly jumping in the comment section saying, what has he done? He hasn't proven anything. Just being ultimately negative. But at first, I didn't really, I didn't see it as they having a little disdain before him because he's a black guy with confidence. I didn't see it like that at first. He's flashy. So, okay, I can see people not liking that, right? Then I remember he beat TCU in the college football championship, right? The BCS championship. And I was like, damn, they lost that game. They made it to this level, and the next year Deion beats him. Now it was fool's gold, true enough, but only people that knew that are people that are entrenched in recruiting and just know these things, right? Most people didn't have that information, let's be honest. They was hating on dude. And they said he was gonna get blown out the water. I remember the reports. And to think that they just had so much disdain for this brother, it just wasn't making sense to me, bro. So I was like, what's the problem? This is a father that's involved. He's being a father to Travis Hunter, like, and people were just jumping in the comment section, like, they see him hugging Travis Hunter, and people jump in the comment section, you know, white people in the comment section, you know, my son needs to be loved by his coach too. And it's like, wait a minute. For the longest y'all kept talking about how black fathers wasn't involved and black men weren't doing X, Y, and Z, and you see it and now you like, well, I need some too, or I got something positive or negative. It was just starting to get to me, right? So I'm watching Deion struggle the first year. They won the first few games and they got completely blown out by Oregon, who was just a different level Power 5 school. We get it. It takes time, like I said. I had a little faith in them. By the first quarter, I knew it was a wrap. Cool. They lost. They got their butt whooped. And I even posted on Facebook, I believe, like, if you're going to talk big, you got to be able to accept it when you lost. And to be fair, Deion didn't make excuses. He understood. And he also told people, you better get me now, right? Following year, they pretty much owned in their conference. They said that they couldn't do that, and they did it. They pretty much owned their conference, right? Now, they lost the big game. We understand that. It just takes time to build a program. Like, Alabama didn't become Alabama overnight in 5 seasons. It took a while for Nick Saban to get there. Matter of fact, it took a while for Nick Saban to become the Nick Saban we love and respect as a football coach. Don't tell me I'm wrong. I am a football fanatic. I've watched this whole process happen from Urban Meyer to Kirby Smart to Nick Saban to, what was the guy with the raspy voice, his name at LSU? I can't remember his name right now. But I watch these guys get better. I watch these guys build programs, right? And catch the best recruiting classes. I watched this happen. Pete Carroll at USC. I watched these things happen. It took time, bro. So let's move on to the draft, right? Shedeur Sanders is being talked about in the media. There was an anonymous reporter, which I can't stand, but there was an anonymous reporter that said he had a horrible interview. He's basically too arrogant. He doesn't understand the tape and doesn't understand the whiteboard, and all of these things were being said. It was starting to happen the closer it got to the draft. At first it was some negative, but it was mostly positive about Shedeur, and then all of a sudden you just start hearing all of these negative comments. So let's go to day one of the draft. I watched the top 10. I said he didn't get selected. I looked at New Orleans and I looked at Pittsburgh and I saw he didn't get selected. I said, well, he's not getting drafted in the first round. But let me be honest. I wasn't shocked by that. I was like I said, I don't think Shedeur is elite, except when it comes to accuracy. But I don't think Shedeur is just a groundbreaking quarterback. So I'm not sitting here riding his jock, bro. But I'm like, I can see second round. Second round comes. Third round comes. I'm like, okay, they are punishing that man. They are punishing that young man, and they are punishing his father for having the audacity to be confident, to be competent, for being an NFL legend, for making waves in a program that changed the world, the face of college football. Deion was pulling in other brothers that came from the league. Bro, it's like he was being a father figure to a lot of these men. You even had people like Jason Whitlock interviewing a white football player, right, from the team that was disgruntled about some things Deion supposedly had done. Like, you just had people from the right, from the middle, from the left, from everywhere, just trying to pull this down. I'm like, so this is, Deion said it, don't punish my son. He said it. And I'm like, See, I can understand a second round draft pick. That makes sense. Hell, I still thought it was crazy, but I could see third, fifth. Come on, bro. Come on. They was teaching that black man a lesson. Do I think it's racism? I don't consider that racism. I just think America is just not comfortable with black, confident, competent men that don't rely on them. That's what I think. I have a problem with people saying stop being a victim and then also telling you to tone it down when you winning. It just don't make sense to me. It really perplexes me. It befuddles me because it's like, y'all just really have a problem with black men succeeding without your help. Y'all didn't have a problem with all these players talking about how they mama was their inspiration and mama's the real MVP and I didn't have my father. Y'all wasn't having that conversation, bro. Y'all wasn't having no issue with that. But this man, bruh, I'm gonna show you some clips, bro, of this man just being an amazing father to his children, despite his circumstances, teaching his children, teaching other children. This man, for Shedeur Sanders to be drafted in the 5th round, and then look at the roster. They got Joe Flacco, Deshaun Watson, the guy from Oregon, and Shador. It was just a petty draft. It's collusion, bro. You can't convince me of that. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like, what evidence do you have of that? You're never gonna have concrete evidence of billionaires that know how to operate in the world of power. Let's be honest. But we do got one thing. So let me read an article to you that popped up on my timeline. I actually went and read the article, but I'm gonna read it to you guys again. So let's go. Son of Falcons coordinator Ulbrich admits to Sanders prank. The son of Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator admitted to a prank call made to Shedeur Sanders during the NFL draft and apologized on Instagram Sunday. The NFL is looking into the situation, specifically how Sanders' private number leaked, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter. The Falcons said in a statement Sunday that 20-year-old Jax Ulbrich wrote down the number from his father's open iPad while visiting his parents' home to later conduct a prank call. As Sanders continued to wait for his name to be called on day 2 of the draft, Friday, a video surfaced on social media of the former Colorado quarterback receiving a call from someone impersonating New Orleans Saints general manager Mickey Loomis. The caller told Sanders, "We're going to take you with our next pick, man, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that." A confused Sanders asked the crowd gathered for his draft party, "What does that mean?" Jax Ulbrich wrote in the post what he did was completely inexcusable, embarrassing, and shameful. He said Sanders accepted his call earlier. Now, this doesn't prove collusion, right? But this proves what I've been saying. You look at these comment sections when Shedeur was going through this waiting to be drafted and how bad, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, majority white men were talking about this man. Like celebrating his downfall, bro. It's one thing to say, I told you weren't that good, bro. It's another thing to say he gonna be cooking chicken and he gonna be doing this and that and he'll be dropping off my Amazon packages, all type of stuff, gang. Just to disrespect the man and kick him while he's down. Why? Look at the people that went before him, bro. The only one that you could make a decent argument about other than Cam Ward, take him out. Cam Ward to me is like at a different level than Shedeur. But Jackson Dart, same level. The guy Dylan, whatever his name is from Oregon, people barely watched him play. They were good on defense. They were lightning fast. He didn't really do much. I saw somebody on NFL post talk about the quarterback from, what is his name? Howard. I can't remember his first name. Accurate. Now, he's accurate. I give him that. But, bro, this man had a track team for an offense. Like, he didn't lead his team to anything. This man just drove the ship. He was Trent Dilfer with the 2002 Ravens. He just didn't mess it up. It's like every rule that we understand about big-time football, it didn't apply to Shedeur Sanders. And people celebrated his downfall. Race plays a part in that. His dad being confident and being who he is played a part in that. And it upset people. The confidence, the brash, the ability to back it up. They were even talking about Shedeur attacking a football guy like the guy didn't smack the ball out of somebody's hand and they responded. As a black man, you just can't respond to anything. If you have any aggression, you're an angry black man, you're just another thug. You wearing chains, you must be a thug. The whole draft wore chains, bro. White men included. I guess y'all forgot about Joe Burrow, wearing his chain, having his grill in his mouth. I guess y'all forgot about Johnny Manziel with the money signals. It's all good until a black man is confident that comes from a lineage. Somebody that was learning up under Deion Sanders, other greats, including the great Tom Brady, bro. who I can't stand, but I'm a Steelers fan, so it's personal. But great all-time quarterback. That doesn't seem to matter when it's Shedeur Sanders. And I'm not calling it racism, but like I keep saying, bro, we got a long way to go with race. And we can't do, it just seems like we can't do anything right. It seems like everything we do is a problem, right? And now they talking about how Cam Ward is humble and didn't have chains on. I saw y'all in the comments when Cam Ward was talking, bro. Y'all had the same stuff to say about him in the way he was talking. And all of a sudden, when you want to prove comparisons, this is how it goes. We not falling for it, bro. But anyway, I just want to review this. I pray for Shedeur. I pray that he puts work in and puts himself in a position to earn some time in the NFL, because it's going to be a grind, especially where you're starting from. You're going to have to grind, my boy, and I believe in you, but use all this as fuel, because they definitely played with your top. They definitely played with you and your daddy's last name. They definitely played with you, bro. You're not imagining it, and look at how grateful he was to get the opportunity. The guy that's so ungrateful, that doesn't appreciate nothing, so cocky, so arrogant, was crying tears because of how excited he was to actually make it in there. I guess y'all did a good job of humbling him. Anyway, it's your guy, Chase Johnson, aka 5100CJ. Make sure y'all hit the like button, the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get all of my content as soon as it drops. And with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. You dig.